There is a large cabinet of some kind in front of the door. When we open it up, we're going to have to move a cabinet. The cabinet is, just what in whatever room that's in. It's just sitting. We're just going to have to push it aside to go in. 3513, we're going to be clearing the residence. Give us traffic, please. Sheriff's Office!
How can we even make sense of the terrible tale of the Amato family? Imagine the quiet town of Chuluota, Florida, about to be rocked by a horrifying crime at the start of 2019. Grant Amato, the youngest in the family, was about to make a terrible decision, driven by a deep obsession from a dark corner of the internet. Trapped in this virtual world, Grant would betray his own family in the worst way possible. In a shocking sequence, his dad, mom, and brother were each struck down, their lives cruelly ended in their own home. This terrible event left the family ruined and a community in shock. Can we ever truly understand such a tragedy? Welcome to the Crimeful Corner. I'm Eli, and in today's video, we'll cover the unsettling case of Grant Amato, the man who committed the unthinkable act of brutally murdering his own family. On January 25th, 2019, something unusual happened. Cody Amato, Grant Amato's brother, failed to appear for work as a nurse anesthetist at Orlando Regional Medical Center in Orlando, Florida. This was highly unexpected for the devoted 31-year-old healthcare worker who was known to arrive early, and it raised suspicion among his colleagues. They reached out to Cody's girlfriend, but she was also unable to contact him. With growing anxiety, they urged the Chuluota police to investigate the Amato family residence where Cody lived alongside his parents and younger sibling. Officers rushed to the scene, arriving at the expansive property at 9:17 a.m., utterly unprepared for the horrifying sight that awaited them. As they cautiously entered the home, the officers were first met with the lifeless body of 59-year-old Chad Amato, Cody's father, lying on the kitchen floor with a deadly gunshot wound. Pushing forward, they discovered Cody's own motionless form sprawled across the storage room floor. The chilling discovery continued as they found 61-year-old Margaret Amato hunched over her office desk, a gunshot wound to her head sealing her fate. The gruesome scene was a haunting reminder of the heartbreaking family tragedy that had taken place within the walls of a home that once knew peace and happiness. Nearly all members of the Amato family residing in that home had met their tragic end, but curiously, one family member was missing. When the police finally located him at a nearby hotel, they unraveled an incredibly peculiar chain of events leading to the untimely deaths of Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato. Grant Amato, the youngest of the family, was part of a lineage of accomplished professionals in the medical industry. Chad, his father, served as a clinical pharmacist, while his mother, Margaret, held a position as an operations manager supervising medical coders. Both Grant and Cody pursued their parents' profession, obtaining nursing degrees from the neighboring University of Central Florida. Cody succeeded, but Grant fell short. Armed with his nursing degree, Grant managed to find employment as a nurse at Advent Health Orlando. However, in June 2018, he was discovered stealing 8 vials of the powerful sedative propofol. He justified his actions by claiming he intended to give it to patients who, in his opinion, required enhanced pain management. This alarming discovery added a layer of intrigue to an unfolding dramatic story. Due to his misconduct, Grant lost his job at the hospital and was subsequently arrested by Orlando police for grand theft. Luckily for him, the hospital opted not to press charges, allowing him to dodge a conviction. After his termination and arrest, Grant faced immense difficulty securing another nursing position. This obstacle prompted him to try his luck as a Twitch streamer, aiming to play video games for a live audience who could offer support through tips or channel subscriptions. Cody and Chad backed Grant in this endeavor, lending him their credit cards to purchase streaming equipment and promotion for his channel. However, despite the financial aid from his father and brother, Grant struggled as a Twitch streamer, rarely broadcasting and earning a meager $150 per month from viewers. Rather than focusing on work, Grant became increasingly absorbed in the realm of webcam models. Women who perform for a live audience, receiving payment for conversation and sensual entertainment. Grant grew intensely fixated on a Bulgarian performer known online as Sylvie, spending countless hours and hundreds of dollars per session on exclusive private chats with her. Over time, he crafted an online alter ego, portraying himself to Sylvie and her other admirers as a prosperous professional gamer. To maintain this illusion, Grant lavished Sylvie with tips and bought her lingerie and toys to showcase in her virtual performances. Captivated by the alluring model's appreciative responses to his generosity, Grant became convinced they shared a genuine romantic connection, which only intensified his reckless spending.
All right, Sylvia, look at me. I am outside going to check the mail, and I'm asking you if you can please, pretty please, send me one of your videos. I love it so much when you just send them to me. Yeah, I don't like buying your stuff. It makes me feel weird. Could you please send me one though?
Within a matter of months, Grant had squandered over $200,000 of his family's money on Sylvie. When Chad discovered the staggering expenses and confronted his son, Grant confessed how he had spent the funds. This revelation led Cody to cover the cost of a $15,000 pornography addiction program at a rehab facility for his brother. However, just days into the 60-day program, Grant opted to leave, later claiming to authorities that the staff had told him his addiction wasn't genuine. Upon returning home, a frustrated Chad Amato, who had decided to postpone his retirement to repay Grant's debts, presented his son with a set of conditions he must follow if he wished to stay in the family home. Among the most crucial rules were that Grant could not have unmonitored internet access, possess a smartphone, or communicate with Sylvie in any way. Back home with his dream world in ruins, Grant eventually persuaded his mother to let him use her phone to contact Sylvie. However, when Chad discovered this breach, he made good on his promise and demanded that Grant leave their home. So, what measures do you think could be put in place to prevent people from spiraling into such destructive obsessions online? Could it even be prevented at all? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
You're being cooperative, sir. We appreciate that. Some Seminole County detectives want to talk to you, so we're going to get the handcuffs off of you.
Nothing in your pants, correct? Yes.
Nothing, yes sir.
We did.
Real quick.
It's just a normal routine when we encounter someone that we want to make sure you're safe. Now we know you don't have any weapons. We'll get those restraints off of you.
I mean, I have my like duffel bag and whatnot in there if you guys want to check that and whatnot.
That'll be up to the detectives that talk to you.
Oddly, Amato appeared calm in the interrogation room, never questioning the reason for the police's inquiries, even after his hotel room had been thoroughly examined by a team of investigators.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway. No. When's the last time you saw everybody?
Alright, I'm ready. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less. I'm gonna pray for you, brother, because I can't pray for Mom, Dad, and Cody anymore. Please, let me check it out.
During the questioning, the police discovered Grant's enormous debt and his strained relationship with his father. Amato elaborated on these issues, informing the officers that on January 24th, his father demanded he leave the house, while his brother Cody assured him in a somewhat foreboding manner that he would handle the situation. When confronted about his potential involvement in his family's tragic deaths, he pretended to be shocked and began sniffling. He insisted he hadn't killed anyone and suggested that Cody must have been responsible for their parents' demise before turning the weapon on himself. Grant's feeble attempt to pin the blame on Cody didn't surprise detectives who had examined the scene and concluded it was staged to look like a murder-suicide. They discovered that Cody's body had been moved after his death and his holster was positioned incorrectly for a right-handed person. However, without a confession, the authorities had no choice but to let Grant go until they could gather more proof. The most critical clue they found was a thumb drive in Grant's possession that had been connected to a computer in the Amato home at 11:30 p.m. on January 24th, well after the estimated time of the killings. It came as no shock that this thumb drive contained over 500 photos of Sylvie, the Bulgarian webcam performer, in various stages of undress. This crucial evidence placed Grant at the crime scene shortly after the murders, sealing his guilt in the eyes of the prosecution. Grant was arrested not long after. The prosecution argued that Grant Amato's fury over being cut off from Sylvie and cast out of the family residence drove him to infiltrate the house and fatally shoot his mother in the back of her head as she sat at her office desk. According to them, Grant then lingered in the kitchen waiting for his father to come home. When Chad arrived, Grant shot him twice, ending his life. Next, Grant used his deceased father's fingerprints to access Chad's phone and through text lured Cody to the scene. As soon as Cody showed up, Grant shot him in the head within the storage room and then staged the scene by placing the gun and holster on Cody's body to make it seem as if he carried out the murders before taking his own life. Even with the substantial evidence against him, Grant Amato continued to proclaim his innocence, pleading not guilty to 3 counts of premeditated first-degree murder. His defense highlighted the absence of conclusive DNA evidence and accused investigators of being narrow-minded, letting their belief in Grant's guilt color their perception of the crime scene. And on August 12, 2019, they found Grant Amato guilty on all 3 counts, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole for each charge.
You've been found guilty of 3 counts for killing both your mother, your father, and your brother, Margaret Amato, Chad Amato, and Cody Amato. At this point, you've been found guilty by a jury of your peers who have now indicated that you are not to be sentenced to the death penalty. Based upon those circumstances, the court is limited to 1 finding and 1 sentence for you. As to each count, the court would adjudicate you guilty. I would sentence you to life imprisonment without any possibility of parole as to each count.
At his sentencing, when asked if he felt any remorse, he responded, "My family has been blaming me for months for ruining their lives, stealing, and not following the rules of the home, so I might as well be blamed for this too." Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I have a playlist here of some crazy stories that I would love to share with you. So if you have some more time to spare, go check that out. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.